So if you could be here around 9, that would be great. Okay?
Well, listen here.
Hello and happy 2020. This is 90 Day Fiancé MK Classic Edition. I'm Mr. O, and on this episode, Miss H and I will be talking about Season 2, Episodes 9, 10, and the Tell-All. In these episodes, all the couples end up getting married, and they talk in the Tell-All for a little while, I guess. Anyway, we'll have lots to say about it. Just a quick programming note. We'll be back with new episodes this coming up week, where we'll analyze the 2 episodes we missed and the new episode that comes out on Sunday. So keep an eye out on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday for those episodes, and we'll get ready for another classic episode starting Season 3 next week. Okay, stay tuned and enjoy.
Hello, Mr. O.
Hello, Miss H.
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm hoping everybody's holiday went well.
Yep.
And, ready to wrap up Season 2. Move on to a new group of people.
Oh, yeah.
These people
That's true.
I'm done with these people. For now. Some of them come back, don't they?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Because I think, I think we have one more season before they start grouping up the interesting ones for Happily Ever After.
Right. Okay. But I don't know. I kind of feel like when the seasons are ending, it's a good time for the season to end. Because it was starting to get pretty wheel spinny, and then we can just wrap it all up.
Yeah. Okay, so where do you want to start?
Let's start with Danny and Amy.
Okay, Danny and Amy. So, Nick is being super inappropriate still.
Yeah, Still.
Talks about passing the sex torch.
The sex torch, and yeah.
They'll give it to him, and I was like...
Will pass. Does that mean he's going to stop having sex? Because he's passed the...
Yes, you passing the torch, yes, means your time is over, right?
So, I don't know what he's trying to say there.
It was kind of funny when the brothers were all talking about it. He's like, oh, we'll give him the sex torch. And it's like, they kind of realized, I think, that sounded weird. And then they're like, oh, yeah. And then he'll give it to Amy. It's like, okay. Phrasing.
Listen, phrasing, yeah. Anytime you're talking about sex, you don't want to use, like, talking about your brother, how you're going to give it to him.
Give
like
it to him, I know, right? It's so funny that all the brothers kind of look similar-ish. They're a good-looking family.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, good-looking family.
Well, because it wasn't just the brother. It wasn't just the Nick. Because,
yes,
the sisters were asking Amy about it. Like, when she's, like, doing her mascara, it's like, could you please not talk about, like, me banging your brother while you're doing my mascara? That would be awesome.
Yeah, awkward. So then they're kind of looking back on everything, and Danny is describing like their whole 90 days as a volcano with an eruption. It's like, are we talking about another erection? Why does everybody have all these weird euphemisms for erections?
Right. Well, I mean, that's ejaculation, but
still
okay. Penisy.
One leading to the other, right?
Yes. Oh, so they actually get to the ceremony then, right?
Yes.
And I don't think I've seen a hayride to the altar before. That was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of fits in with their whole farm theme.
It totally did. But it was like weird because she had like a hayride, and then there was a door that she walked through, which meant that they just put like a random door in the middle of the farmyard. Like, framed on TV, it looked fine, but I was like, wait a second. If we zoomed out, this would just be a random wall with a door in it.
Right. Yeah, but their wedding was really, really nice. You know, they said in previous episodes that Amy really likes sunsets, so it looked like they really tried to time the wedding so it was happening. The ceremony was happening right at sunset. They even said everything was perfect and it was completely worth it. Yeah, it was a nice wedding.
Nice little wedding.
Yep. And it seemed to warm Dad's heart a little bit because then he gives her a kiss. He says at some point that, you know, she's a good girl. She looked beautiful. And Amy took it as like a sign of approval. And I kind of took it that way too.
Yeah, that's true. And they get to drive off in that pretty awesome classic convertible Mustang, which I appreciated. That was nice.
Yeah,
a good
it
way to
was
end
funny
it.
because I think Danny was a little nervous about driving it.
I was clearly somebody's Mustang, and it was like, do not mess up my Mustang. Like,
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that was it for them. There really
That was
wasn't
it.
a whole lot.
yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of drama. They had the weird sex torch thing, and
Yes.
that was pretty
Which,
much it.
thank God that's over with.
Right.
That part at least.
Oh man. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Who do you want to talk about next?
Let's go to Brett and Daya.
Okay.
Okay.
So I felt really I feel like a lot of their drama was very real.
It was, but it also was kind of boring. Like, I felt like it was like,
Yes. I wouldn't say it's super interesting, but
it was like
real.
3
You
minutes
could
worth
tell.
of stuff that they stretched out for like 30. But
Yeah.
definitely real.
So they went to go pick up Cassidy, and they are, dealing with the wedding, and they're trying to pack because they just got that new apartment, and so they're going to
Yep.
be moving soon. So Mom decides to, jump in the mix and arrive early. So it's kind of like, oh my gosh, Mom, don't you understand that everybody's sleeping situation gets all messed up when she comes? Because that was the whole reason why the three of them, Brett, Daya, and Cassidy, had to share a bed, was because the mom was there. So the mom was
Right.
sleeping in Cassidy's bed, and the three of them were sleeping together.
But
So
didn't
it's
they-
kind of like,
I guess if you only have a single bed for Cassidy, it does the same thing.
Yeah.
Even in the apartment, you have a bed for Cassidy. That's
Yeah.
only one person can
even
sleep
if it's
in.
a two, yeah, because they have two bedrooms no matter what. And so it's kind of like, you're messing things up by coming early. It's not like,
I mean, I assume that
maybe
she was
it's
going to be.
helpful.
It would be helpful because she would be watching Cassidy while they did all the the last 2 days before your wedding is just like a
Right.
crazy amount of stress and stuff going on.
Yeah.
So-
So, it's very clear and obvious that Mom doesn't approve of Daya. And I want to say that kind of the moment of disapproval and doubt really came about after the ring situation. Daya
Yeah.
questioning the ring, and that did not sit well with Mom.
Yeah, it was very much. It seemed like Mom was already on the fence about weird foreigner I've never met coming to marry my son. And then when she was
Yes.
like, "I think this ring is fake," she was like, "You're dead to me. This is done.
Yeah.
I don't like it."
Yeah, pretty much. Because if she's concerned about using him for something, like that kind of goes along with her narrative,
Yeah,
in her
exactly.
mind. So, yeah, she definitely was not really giving Daya a chance after that.
Right. And so she
So-
wanted to have like the last, like, I don't know, have your say mom thing where she was like, wanted to say basically one more time at the end, "I don't approve of this wedding and I think it's a bad idea." But,
Yeah.
But she does it in the apartment where Daya can hear it. Like,
Yes.
which is
Yeah.
a weirdly passive aggressive like thing. Like, she can hear it. I'm not going to engage Daya. I'm not going to talk to her about it. I'm not going to tell Daya my fears. I'm just going to make it so she can hear them, overhear them as I
Right.
tell Brett. Like, that was weird.
How many times have they gone off on their fake meals or coffee or
Let's
something?
walk around the garden for a bit. Yeah.
Yes.
So we met my mom
something.
for eggs. Okay. Like,
Right. And so it's like it didn't make any sense to me why she was doing it there. It just seemed like an inappropriate time, place, and she didn't really seem to care.
I mean,
Yeah.
it almost seemed like I actually want Daya to hear this, but I don't want to actually talk to her about it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the way things played out, it wouldn't surprise me. So her concerns kind of center around she thinks they have different goals. She sees red flags. And then the mom just is worried. She doesn't think it'll work out. And then she hopes that Brett will have the guts to stand up to her, whatever that's supposed to mean.
I don't know. It means I think you should break up with her, and I think you're being a pussy about it. Like, that's all I got. Like that's what that means, right?
Yeah. So Daya overhears it, and yeah, it's not good. So she's very clearly upset. She's crying, and then Brett is just all up in her business, and she just wants space.
Yeah. I mean, he helped by bringing her toilet paper to wipe her tears away. Did you know?
Yeah. Yes, I
Because
noticed.
there was no tissues or anything. Just Here's some toilet
I
paper.
don't know. My house doesn't have tissues. Like, I don't usually keep any tissues in my house. I would
literally
probably do the same.
just got in the mail today a case of tissues.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, I've never like thought to have tissues in my house, but when I have a cold, you literally go to bed with a roll of toilet paper next to me.
I have a box of tissues, and then when you use all the tissues, you can throw all the dirty tissues back in the box.
Oh,
No, it's kids too, because toilet paper, if I'm blowing my nose on it, it just gets too rough. Makes my nose all raw and stuff.
oh, see, I get really good toilet paper. I get like the 10-ply toilet paper. I don't know how many
Wow.
it is, but it's not the thin stuff, so it can actually handle nose blowing.
Yeah, I'm a dude. I go through like one roll of toilet paper a month.
Yeah, but you have girls, so I think at some point you got to start buying the good stuff.
I have decent stuff. I have whatever. I get the same toilet paper their mom gets, and so I just if that's good enough for them, then it's good enough for me.
Okay. All right. So then Brett's mom at some point, while Daya's upset and Brett is trying to comfort her, comes into the room and it's just like, you're making things worse. You are the source of the problem here. Your mere presence is not helping the situation.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, that kind of... look, I didn't really have much of an opinion of Brett's mom before this episode, but...
Yeah, I didn't either.
It's not high after this episode, after these couple episodes. That's just shit stirring. Like, you're not helping. Like, she's very much a person who's like, sometimes it's okay to have an opinion and just not say it. Like, it's not, if you have something to say and it's not going to help, then just don't say it. It's okay. Everybody doesn't have to hear every thought you've had.
Yeah. Yeah. So Daya makes it about like, turns it into like sides, She's like, it's either my side or your mom's side.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah. And then the mom is like defending what she said because pretty much in the end, she wants them to break up. So to her, it doesn't make a difference if she upset Daya because she's like, I don't want them to get married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, what does it matter if she's upset? Like, it's not, I don't want you to be my future daughter-in-law. And she's upset about it, and strongly thought about it enough that she eventually decides not to come to the wedding.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, I will not support this.
Right, which is why I thought this drama was actually real. Because, I mean, people, who just kind of kick and scream about things. And it's, part of it is that they're trying to be manipulative. They'll say, okay, well, I don't approve of this, and so I'm not going to come to your wedding, as protest. And they're hoping that they won't get married. It's not that they don't want to be there to support their, son.
Right.
And, it was kind of one of those things where I think she thought, well, if she protests that, Brett would kind of take her side and not marry her. I think that's what she was thinking would happen. So the fact that she didn't show up in the end means that she really felt that way. And it wasn't just about this kind of manufactured drama. I mean, she missed his wedding. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it was the second wedding, but it's still a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder what she thought about the first wife.
Yeah, I'm curious too.
That'd be interesting to know.
Because I don't know. I got the impression Brett had mentioned his divorce, and it seemed like it was a decently contentious divorce. It wasn't a very amicable one.
Right. So so Daya expresses that she's having doubts because of this whole revelation. And so she's just really upset. She's in no position to really be making life-changing decisions, but Brett is on her to decide right now if she wants to get married.
Are we getting married?
It's give her some space.
And some time. You have to, this is new information. It takes a little while to process. And it's one of those things that screaming at her to process it isn't gonna make it happen any faster. He wasn't screaming at her, but bugging her about have you processed it? Are you done yet? Have you done it yet? Have you thought about it? Did you think about it? Did you think about it yet? Did you make a decision?
I need to know right now. And I kind of get it.
This was also the day before the wedding.
Yeah, because he's like thinking, okay, do I have to cancel things? Like, I'm sure that's what he was thinking, but at the same time, like now as opposed to an hour from now, probably not going to make much of a difference. Just give her a little bit of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's terrible, and this has not been the first couple that said that, but it's like him seeing her cry. That's when he realizes that she finally loves him.
I didn't get that. I don't get that at all. Like, oh
no, but they're not the only one that said
the idea of getting married to me is tearing her apart to the point of tears.
Yes, so she must love me.
I don't get that. That is not the conclusion I drew.
Right, but like I said, there's been other couples where it's like, oh, when I saw them cry, they showed emotion, and I realized that they really do love me.
Yeah,
it's like, why is that like a criteria for like true love?
I don't know
makes
either.
No sense.
I don't know. So okay, so we now end up getting to the wedding, and they're wearing really lame shirts, right? What were the shirts?
Yeah. Oh, Team Auto. It did whatever the quote was, and then it took me a minute to realize, oh, that's his last name.
Right. Yeah, I got that.
Yeah,
I got that. But it was like something like, I'm with her, or she's me. Like, I forget what it was.
Yes, it made no sense.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just so lame that I've blocked out what it actually said. That I was just like, the dad joke.
Oh gosh.
That you had that made into a T-shirt. Okay, but this is what I was confused. It looked like the wedding was in the backyard, right? It looked like it was in Lou's backyard. But I know they had like shopped for a wedding venue. And so I was like, yeah, it just looked familiar. I was like, I think that's the same fence we've been looking at all season. Like, and I think that's the deck. And so I don't
think I paid too much attention. It looked like a garden area, wherever it was, but I don't think I thought too much about that. It looked like a park.
Mm. So, yeah, I have to go back and forensically watch it and figure out. Yeah. Like, is this the same backyard that we've been doing the cookout in? Things like that.
I don't know. Are you going to even care about that after this podcast?
Not at all.
Probably not.
I'm saying it for the people, Miss H. Jeez.
Okay. So Daya has a lot of her family there, actually.
And which is, so they didn't mention that. Like, they, for when Amy's family was there.
And
yeah, there was like, oh, my family is here. But they also
there was a lot of them.
Yeah, but they also didn't have that scene that we've seen in a lot of the other stories where they're like, oh, well, I found out that none of my family is going to be there, and I'm really upset that it's not my family. We didn't have that scene either. So it was kind of like, just like, oh, she has people to walk her down the aisle. Okay.
Yeah. So Daya gets to walk down the aisle with her mom and some random white dude.
Oh, did we not know who that was? I didn't even know it was her mom.
No.
I didn't know who the dude was.
I just assumed it was her mom. She was a Filipina lady, like dressed in traditional Filipina clothes, and then some random white dude who is also dressed up in Filipino clothing, like traditional Filipino clothing. So it's kind of like stepdad?
Maybe he's a stepdad.
Because I don't think that's her dad.
We'll say stepdad.
Yeah. Okay. So random white dude, possibly stepdad.
Okay.
My only brief notes about their wedding, like the actual ceremony, is one, Daya has always great nails. I really like her nails. Oh, They're always like fun and got some kind of pattern on it. Okay. Something that you wouldn't notice.
Something that I wouldn't notice, indeed.
Yeah. Then the other quick note about their ceremony was, you may kiss the bride.
I saw that too.
It was 100% Brett kissing her.
Yeah,
and she kind of turned her face like away from him. Like, it's, those photo booth pictures where one person's kissing the other while the other person's smiling
like
at the camera.
It was,
Yes, it was very much that kind of situation.
Yeah, it was, it was a friend zone, hug. It was like, oh, let's go in. Oh, shit, he's going in to kiss. Quick. Turn the cheek.
Quick, turn. Yes, turn away. Yeah.
So what did you feel about his mild trolling about looking at his ring and being like, I don't know, do you think it's a real diamond in my ring?
Such a dad joke.
Yeah,
that's what I think
couldn't
of that.
tell. I was really on the fence. It was like, is that one of those dad jokes that's like appropriate and funny, or is it just too lame? Like, I couldn't decide.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
clearly
gonna go with lame.
It was clearly lame, but it was like, was it lame in a funny way or lame in just a lame way?
Lame. I'm gonna go with lame.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's the final decision.
Yep. 2 thumbs down.
2 thumbs
Lame,
down.
lame. Yeah.
2 fake diamond rings down.
It was nice that Lou was there and kind of acted like Brett's mom.
Yeah. Oh, surrogate mom.
Surrogate mom, yeah. So Daya says that she hopes someday that Brett's mom would accept her.
You know what? Sometimes what it takes, and maybe this happened, it takes grandkids. Like at some point, it's like, well, I either have a relationship with her, or I don't ever get to see my grandkids. And guess what? Oh.
Right.
That's when you find a way to deal with her.
Yeah, right. Well, I think also kind of going along with that, like if she did have grandkids, then it's kind of like, well, obviously all those concerns you had before.
Yeah. She's just a gold digger who wants a green card. It's like, well, they have a kid now. Like, yeah.
Right. And I was going to say, it doesn't seem like it's Daya, even though Daya should be the one who's offended. Mm-hmm. It seems like it's the mom who's like mad about the situation. Like,
yeah.
You know, it's not like Daya said to her, "You're not welcome at the wedding."
Right. That's
the
true.
mom just decided not to come.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because she didn't want to show their support for them.
Right. Which I cannot fathom as a parent. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, even if my kid makes a decision I think is going to be bad, I'm going to be there to support them for it. Like, that's just, I don't know. That's just the way I am.
Yeah. Agreed. Okay. Who do you want to talk about next?
Let's do it the other one that was short because it was only in the second episode, and that's Chelsea and Ymir.
Chelsea and Ymir, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because it was just pretty much their weird wedding in the woods.
Yeah. It definitely looks like a backyard wedding.
Yeah. It looked like a Wicker Man wedding to me, man. Like, it's all this old in the woods with the crown of flowers and skirt that took forever to make somehow.
Yes, and I was going to say, and when you see the finished product, it just looked like a super basic skirt.
Yeah.
Like you could, if you had a sewing machine, and you know,
could
I'm
knock that out
assuming
like 15 minutes, right? Like,
yeah, it wasn't that long. And the mom, they said she had been working on it for at least a week.
That's kind of crazy. It really, because isn't a skirt like the first thing everybody learns how to make in a sewing machine? Because you just have to be like,
yeah, I feel like it.
Roll up the fabric and go, okay, skirt.
Yeah, there's literally like 2 fabric pieces to that. You know, the one that wraps around and then the waistband. Uh-huh. And then I'm assuming there's some kind of zipper you got to sew in, but I wouldn't think like the mom is trying to take on a skirt if she didn't know how.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it just, and it wasn't pleat. There weren't any pleats or anything in it. It was just
it wasn't. Yeah,
it wasn't like an A line. It was just straight down.
But once again, like I get that it's sentimental for her, but she literally could have gone to the store and got like some kind of similar skirt for like not that much because it was pretty basic. Like even the material didn't seem especially nice.
Yeah.
It was kind of like some kind of flowy, chiffon-y, like, I don't know, but didn't really look like that. It kind of looked cheaper to me. But the top was really nice. I liked the top.
Right, which she already had. But she was really, really
and
stressed.
She did not make that.
Really, really stressed about this dress getting
the
there.
Skirt.
And she can't get a hold of her mom because her mom goes to make food and hasn't finished the skirt yet. And it's like,
yes. And so she's just crying and like, she's on her way to being hysterical.
Yes.
She... you know, has a curling iron. She's like, I don't even know what to do with this. She's like, I don't know how to use this. Why did I buy this?
The part where she was screaming at the curling iron, why did I even buy this?
She's like, I don't know how to use this.
That was really funny.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, in the end, if you saw when she was actually in the ceremony, straight hair.
Straight hair?
Apparently she didn't use it. She abandoned that thought.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, so we see Ymir getting ready. He's ready. Jamir's chill. Like Ymir's not stressed out at all. He's just having fun. A lot of his family is there.
He has a ton of family there.
The only thing bothered me about Ymir, because this is something that bothers me in general. It's always something you see at weddings, because generally people at weddings are wearing suits are people that do not wear suits all the time.
Yeah.
Men's suits are all tailored so that the bottom button is supposed to be unbuttoned.
Okay.
And so many people, when they're not used to wearing suits, and I do this every year because I always have, for my seniors, we have like a banquet thing and they dress up and they wear suits. And like so many of the boys, I have to go around and be like, unbutton your bottom button, unbutton your bottom button, unbutton your bottom button, because they all button all the buttons up. And you can notice when he walks down the stairs, what it does is like when you bend over or when you're moving, it kind of pushes the whole coat up, and you get this. It almost looks like this jacket comes up off your shoulders and bunches up, and that's because he didn't unbutton the bottom button. So, small life lesson there. Unbutton your bottom button, man.
Yeah. His boy band hair is just like, come on, dude.
Yeah. I mean,
Do you really want to look back at your wedding pictures and be like, you just got out of bed?
Yeah. But you look cool, man. It's like,
oh my gosh.
I'm fixing my hair. Making my hair look cool.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
All right.
Certain angles, it was good. Other angles, not
it was
so
it was a Rorschach test of hair. It just kept changing every time I looked at it. So they did my favorite thing in the wedding. He refers to her as his Gringita.
Oh gosh. Yes, we've talked about how we hate that.
But other than that, it was just a wedding. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Bales of hay. They're all sitting on bales of hay. She was had the head wreath on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very
all
hippie.
Of that is
very granola.
Yeah, I was gonna say very, very much suits them.
Yep.
So then their ceremony, Ymir's funny. He tries to kiss her in the middle of the ceremony. She's like, no, not now.
Not yet.
Yeah. And then he puts on one of many ugly antique rings that she has. She just has a collection. Did you see how many rings she had?
She had so many on.
It was like one on every finger.
And so, like, how do you differentiate which one's the wedding ring? Like, it's, I don't know.
Well, the specific hand, right? But yeah, but you're right. They all look the same. I was like,
it's supposed to be, left hand thing. And well, I'm saying, you take them all off at night, and you're like, oh, crap, which one's the wedding ring?
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty much it for them, right?
Yeah, that was it. I
don't have any much else. All right. Did we see Justin and Evelyn?
We haven't done them yet. Nope. Justin and Evelyn. Sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, I didn't have a lot for them.
No, I didn't. But
yeah.
Justin's George Clooney days are behind him.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I had to look it up. I'm not sure whether or not when they filmed this, if George Clooney was married or not.
I think he was, right? He's been married for a while.
Yeah, it was like 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
I think he got married to her after they had been together for a long time before they got married.
Yes. Well, he wasn't pulling in girls like he used to, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, so everybody's
I think part of that too isn't even about like hooking up with a bunch of girls. I think it's just about like living kind of a bachelor life, like being able to do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
That was kind of how I always kind of took it.
Yeah. I mean, the George Clooney thing was always like, he didn't have to try to get girls. Like he was like, if I want to get with a girl tonight, I will. If I don't, I won't. Whatever.
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want.
I'll just hang with my boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he did seem to hang out with his friends a lot.
It was the effortlessness of it, yeah.
Yeah, Jen, Darth Vader, has definitely warmed up to Evelyn. And she thinks that Evelyn makes Justin happy and that he listens to her.
Right. Well, okay, so that was just like we said with the grandkids and Brett and Daya. It's like, once it was like, oh, you were the one who wanted us at the wedding. He wanted us to not be at the wedding.
Right.
Then it's like,
you're the one on our side.
Yeah, you're the one on our side. So clearly it's not the green card thing. Like, yeah, okay. So then they're all getting ready with her, and
her wedding dress is really pretty, except I really did not like that butterfly clip she had like in her waistband.
Oh, I didn't notice that because I was so distracted by all the body glitter. Like
it kind of goes along with the whole butterfly theme, I think, right?
So much body glitter. It was like, oh man, it's not going to come out for weeks.
Right, and she's just going to get it everywhere.
Yep.
But, okay, so she walks out onto the beach, and it looks like there's a lot of people there for it's supposed to be a two-people elopement situation.
Right.
I mean, mom and brother.
It was like, I would say between 10 and 20, something like that.
Oh, I thought, like 20. It looked like it was like 5, and then 2 rows of it.
Yeah, my understanding was it was going to be like 4. Like
that's what I thought. Like the people who were Jen, the brother,
the people
mom.
who were at the pool party, like when he said, "This is my fiance." That's it.
Yeah. But there were definitely more than that. Evelyn is crying and smiling the whole time. It was a sweet wedding.
Yeah. It was a very just like Chelsea and Ymir's wedding was on brand. Like getting married on the beach with boat shoes, very on brand for Justin.
Yeah, true. I think that would be kind of my ideal wedding, though. Like on the beach, small group of people,
Little people, yeah.
and the missing piece that I for sure now want in my wedding is a giant champagne glass.
The giant novelty champagne.
Just like a comically large champagne glass that basically, fits an entire bottle.
Your entire head. Well, it didn't fit the entire bottle that they used because they also had a giant novelty bottle. Like it was in between.
Yeah, true.
So
yeah,
a
I
standard
want one
bottle,
though.
yes.
I was like, yes, I'm about that. But it was just so funny when they're
Bigger than
doing
their
their
heads.
toast.
They're just
Yeah,
holding it
because it's
in
just
joy.
like it's so gigantic. It's just comical, clown-like. Yeah, so they had cupcakes instead of cake, and then he shoves the cupcake in her face, and you know how I feel
I
about
know
that.
the
Oh
trouble.
hell no, annulment right now.
Cupcakes are the way to go. Cupcakes are the
Yeah.
best because people can just come and they pick up what they want and they grab it and there's not service. It's just, and if they want another one, they just come get another one. Cupcakes are the way to go. I cede to you the shoving it in your face.
Yes,
No
no,
shoving.
I don't. No,
So-
annulment right now.
So, I mean, even to do that, to even relieve tension, you know what? And this is the thing people don't get about weddings. You don't like that. I don't like the tension that goes along with it. You're like, you know what? We're just going to skip the whole part where we feed each other cake.
Yeah,
Let's skip it. We'll just take our cake and go eat
I
it.
feed myself.
I
You
will
feed
feed
yourself.
myself. Yeah.
Then Jen kind of closes by saying, "You can tell by the way they look at each other that they're in love."
I mean,
I don't know.
if you can do that.
I don't know.
But-
I don't know if you can tell by a look. I feel like looks are deceiving.
Yeah, I mean, it's called acting.
Yeah, right?
People make a living out of making looks they don't mean. That's
Right. Like, wasn't that the whole thing with, like, Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper?
Oh, yeah.
Because they did that Grammy
They did that
performance- or
thing,
not
and
the
they were
Grammy,
like, "Oh,
the-
they must be doing it." And they were like, "We're acting." Like, it's
Yeah. They were like, "Oh, we're supposed to make everybody feel like we're in love. So we basically did our job."
right.
Okay, who do you want to talk about next?
All right.
We got some two interesting ones here.
We do have two interesting ones. Let's go, Jason and Cassia first.
Okay. So they are in Vegas for their wedding.
Vegas.
Yes. And Cassia thinks Jason isn't trying to make it work. So
Of
already
course.
we're starting off not so good.
Yeah. Well, of course they're in Vegas, but they're definitely staying in an off-strip motel.
Oh yeah. It was like I don't even recognize that name.
I had to
Yeah.
look it up. It's not too far off the strip, but it's definitely like, you kind of go like behind like the Mirage, and it's like just like, there's really nothing. Once you go behind that first line, there's like, oh, there's nothing else here. That's it. It was right back there.
Okay, so then Jason meets up with everyone, and they're making a toast, and he says something about, even when the chips are down, they're still winning because
That's
they're
like
together. And I was like, that makes no
literally
sense.
The definition of losing is the chips are down.
Yes.
Like
Oh my gosh.
even when we have less points than the other team, we're still winning. It's like, no,
We're
that
still
means
winning
you're
because
losing.
we're together.
Like the chips are how much money you have, and when they're down, you have lost money. That's the definition of that
Oh my gosh.
analogy.
Jason,
Ugh,
He's not a smart man.
he really
So
isn't.
it's-
But
no.
he's hitch, biatch.
Oh, that shirt made no sense.
It doesn't hitch rhymes with bitch. Hitch does not rhyme with biatch.
Oh my gosh. So, okay. So I don't know if you realize this, but his last name is Hitch.
Okay.
So that makes a little bit more sense, but it doesn't make sense. So their shirt said, "I'm Hitch," which means like it's his last name, right?
Yes.
Biatch makes no sense. Like even "I'm Hitch" doesn't even make sense.
I mean, it sounds like it's almost trying to be, and based on the lame old jokes that he continues to make, like
Yeah.
like I'm Rick James bitch type stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I get it if it would have said I'm Hitch bitch. I wouldn't wear it. I wouldn't like it, but at least I would get what he's trying to say. Why biatch?
Yeah.
Because you took a word that rhymed with your last name and made it not rhyme with your last name.
I don't know. Maybe he didn't want to be inappropriate. I know, in Vegas. Who
In
cares?
Vegas. Yeah, in Vegas. All right.
Yeah.
So we have some issues with Jason's
the brother.
Right.
Yes, Ryan. Okay. In what world can we say that Jason is the good-looking one? This is not a world I want to live in.
I
This is
know.
not a world I want to live in. He's the good-looking one.
Why? Oh, man. And it's not like... Okay, so Jason has the weird eye thing, but his whole family has the weird eye thing. The weird, like, heavy folded eyelids.
I don't know. Yeah.
But, like, other than that, it's like... It's personal choices. Like, they all could look okay if they made better personal choices.
They definitely could. Just make better physical
Grooming.
decisions.
Yeah.
Yes. But I thought it was funny. He questions the marriage because he cannot fathom why someone would want to marry Jason.
That's
It's
a
got to
legitimate
be for
reason.
something, like
That's a
a
legitimate
green
reason.
card. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, your brother knows what's up.
Right. So much that he sent them a movie called... Is there a movie called Green Card? Did you look
Oh,
up
yeah,
this
there
movie?
is. Gerard Dupre?
Depardieu?
Yes, Jepardo, yes. I was thinking Jermaine Dupri. I was like, these things are coming together. Yes.
Okay.
He was in it. And, I never saw the movie, but I remember seeing the movie cover.
Okay.
Like when I was a kid, or the movie
like looking,
poster.
yeah,
It was
looking
like-
at the
yeah.
Blockbuster and be like,
Yes. Yep, that poster's been up in the window for a really long time. It's one of those situations. Yeah. Did you notice the person that was Jason's stepmom?
Okay.
So they had her labeled as Jason's stepmom, but
Oh.
I'm pretty sure. I mean,
I
how
think-
does
I
that
think the
work?
dad's divorced
Ron
twice.
wasn't married. Okay, so
I think Ron is.
ex-stepmom? I don't even know what
yeah,
you would call
which
that.
makes sense because I know at some point, Jason had mentioned to Ron, like, "Oh, is your ex-wife going to be there?" And I was like, "That's a weird way to refer to your mother." Like,
Yeah. Oh,
Right?
okay. Okay, yes, that makes sense.
but if it's his second wife, it probably lived with them for a while, so she has a relationship with Jason and everything. But then they got divorced later, and so he's twice divorced, and the second ex-wife is the one that was there.
Yeah. So, yeah, Ryan's just completely roasting Jason. He's saying, oh, Jason's just so happy to have a girlfriend. He'd do anything for her.
Yeah, just roasting on him for a while. This is still
Yeah.
like before. This is even like before they go out and drink, right?
Oh, yeah, this is at the family party by the pool, I think, is
Yeah.
like where they had like kind of their first initial meeting. And he keeps on checking his phone. So,
He's still working.
oh, no, now we move to the kind of weird, rehearsal dinner? I don't even know if we can call it that.
Oh.
It was like at night, when they were talking about the bachelor party.
Uh-huh.
So not everybody's there, but the guys are there. Cassia's there. And she's getting drunk.
Yeah.
They keep on giving her shots.
Right.
And she's pissed that he keeps checking his phone. And then at one point, he is like, okay, both of them are plastered. He calls her a bitch and starts mocking her.
Right.
This is not what you
Not
do
good.
the night before your wedding.
Okay.
What are you
First
doing?
of all, the
You're an
night
idiot.
before my wedding, look, I get if you want to have a bachelor party and get plastered. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I understand that. Do not do it the night before your wedding.
Yeah,
Who wants to
that
be
seems
hung
like-
over on their wedding? Like, that sounds terrible.
Okay. As a girl, you know what we'd think about? We don't want to be all puffy and like looking red and gross on the day of our wedding. But it's
Okay.
like, Jason doesn't care about crap like that.
No, I think about because when I get hungover, I just like stay nauseous for like 24
Oh,
hours.
yeah, sure.
And I couldn't
Oh,
imagine
yeah.
getting married and just being like, please just don't throw up. Don't throw up.
Yeah.
Don't
Well,
throw
no
up.
one looks good the night after, or if they're hungover.
Right.
So I feel like girls would kind of be more conscious of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they had an awkward fight in front of everyone,
Yeah.
where he says that he wants to go out the guys and she's like, no. And
Right. And it was funny because at some point she like burst out, like he called her a bitch and stuff. And she burst out
Yeah.
with like, communication is the key to this relationship, which is like
Gosh.
the least drunk thing I've ever heard a drunk person say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what? Okay.
So Jason's saying that he wants to go out with the guys. He wants to private talk with the boys.
You have to have boy talk.
Did
Locker room talk.
Did he sneak out?
I don't know if he snuck out. I thought he just was like, we're going. And then just like walked away. Like it was
Kind of seemed like
his entire thought process was clearly drunk talk. It was just
Oh, yeah, for sure.
all just like, it would make sense if you were drunk, I guess. Okay.
So she's really upset that he leaves her alone.
Yeah. She would be. Like, if that's especially when that's not the plan, just be like, I'm gonna go with the boys, bye. After, like, she had this whole big thing about, like, not wanting to have his own bachelor party, and we're gonna do this together, and she has nobody else there, and he just, like, leaves her alone at a table. Like,
Yeah.
in, like, probably
So-
the lamest club in Vegas. But,
Oh my gosh. I know. I didn't recognize any of those places.
well, because the second
so
one was,
Jason's-
like, wasn't even, like, a club. It was, like, a diner that they got megaritas
Yeah.
at. Like, it was, what the
Oh,
hell?
yeah. It definitely looked like that. Definitely didn't even look like a bar.
Yeah.
So Jason says he's scared shitless because she's emotional and he never knows if she'll blow up at him.
Well, I mean, it's really just a matter of how much does she take before she blows up at him. Like,
Yeah.
it's like
I don't know.
It's like playing that old. You ever play the old game, like, or I guess, like, Don't Wake Daddy, or that game we did. I know pushing this alarm clock is gonna make him pop up and go crazy at one point, but I don't know which one.
When that is.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that's a good analogy. It just seems like the way you frame it like that, you know, I don't know when it's like that you have no part in this at all.
Yes.
Like she just erupts on her own. I don't know why.
Right. Well, I mean, it's also, but I'm saying, but from an outsider's perspective, it's like, well, the first like 3 times I checked my phone when we were having sex, it wasn't a problem. I don't know why. The 5th time, she got all bent out of shape about it. Like, it's like, okay.
Right. Yeah. So the friends then start coming in on him and saying, you know, he has to put her first. And so they basically tell him, like, why did you leave her alone?
Yeah.
You know, that she doesn't have anyone. What are you doing? And so they guilt him about leaving her alone.
Which was like weird. That's not what you expect from the boys.
You're right. And so he texts her. And did you see the text that he sent her?
I said it. It's like, it's me. ... Right? Did it say
It
that?
was like, hey, hey, Cassia, it's Jason. Like, she doesn't know it's him. I was like,
Oh.
all right, do you guys not have each other's phone
Phone
numbers?
numbers
Like,
aren't,
what's
aren't
happening
stored.
right now?
Did he get a burner?
Yeah.
He's gonna be like his fiance is married tomorrow. It's like, new phone, who dis? Like, what is this?
Yeah. But so they end up leaving because he like feels guilty, and then they just left all their cocktails on the
They just
on the
left him
table.
there. No, they didn't pay.
Yeah.
Just walked away.
Yeah. So Cassia's happy that Jason came back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that's short-lived happiness because then she's sad again that she's getting ready for the wedding by herself.
Right? Yeah. I mean, no, she goes to that weird like salon, right? And she's by herself in the salon. But it's like
Yes,
it's like
yes.
not it's a weird salon. It's a I don't know.
So they're
Vegas
not
salon.
her friends, though, you
Right,
know?
right,
Just
right,
like hired people to help
Right.
her get ready.
Yes.
Like a hairstylist and
Yeah.
stuff. So she has no friends there. She said her friends couldn't make it to the wedding.
Did she have friends in America, or was it she talking about friends
Oh,
from
no,
Brazil?
I think she means like, yeah, I think she means in Brazil. And even then, it's like she's young. Like, I remember when I was 23, I probably didn't have that kind of money just to like pick up and go to a foreign country for someone's wedding.
Yes, definitely not. No.
You know, so I don't know. It's not that surprising that her friends can't make it.
Right. Especially if they're like from Brazil and not like from LA, like Jason's friends were.
Yeah. So Jason thinks all they need is each other, and that's all they need to work it out. It's
That's
like,
never true.
no, you need a little bit more. You need some cooperation, some communication.
Some a little bit of money,
Boundaries, probably, with dad around.
right? A suitable living arrangement.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's like, I don't. Do you kind of think that everybody just hears all these romantic things so much, like growing up or whatever?
They do, and it's just like the boilerplate of what you're supposed to say. Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like it's like grounded in any kind of reality. So when I hear things like that, it really annoys me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, you need more than that
Right.
to survive.
Yeah, Beatles,
You're
John
gonna need
Lennon.
more.
Listen, love is not all you need. Okay,
Yeah, right.
I need indoor plumbing.
Yeah. Well,
Love is not turning my lights on.
So Ron says, in an interview that, Jason, he has a good woman. Better not mess it up. And so I kind of feel like Ron's warmed up because he did not seem like a Cassia fan at the beginning.
No, definitely not. But yeah, I think he was also a little bit on like Jason's brother's boat. Be like, listen, this woman is coming across international boundaries for you. Something's wrong.
What's wrong? There's something wrong with the situation.
This can't be correct.
I think also he might just maybe didn't want it to work out because, that whole thing where it's like, this does directly affect his life. Is it going to affect his living situation because he's living there? It's going to affect how he lives from day to day. And I'm sure it will because, there's like a third person in the mix.
Right.
And so, yeah, he's going to, be wary of the situation because it does directly affect him. Whereas with Ryan, who cares? Like, why does Ryan care if his brother's being used?
Yeah.
Doesn't affect him at all.
I thought that the same way. Like, I feel like some of the relatives do really have, listen, I have your best interest at heart, and I think this is going to hurt you, and this is going to go by.
Yeah.
But the other ones seem like personally offended themselves.
Yes. And it's like, why do you care? Yeah. So her eye makeup looks so much better.
I know, when a professional
at the
did
wedding.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was. Yeah, so
her dress
much
was
better.
weird though.
Okay, yes, I was not a fan of her dress. It was a hoochie mama Las Vegas dress. It went all the way down to her belly button. It was like J-Lo. It was definitely a J-Lo dress with like meshy, I don't know, see-through stuff like in some areas. So I mean, like, if you were to think about like everything that was covered up, like everything's covered up, but they're see-through parts.
But they're see-through, right.
Yes. And you shouldn't ever see a bride's belly button. That's just weird.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I'm never a big fan of the dresses where you have like the slit that goes, past the breasts and they're like separated, like out.
Oh,
that always looks weird to me.
That's always because I'd say that's a weird bra situation too.
Yeah.
Like,
I would imagine so.
Bras are, I don't know, they help lift up the girls. And so it's like when you're in a situation where you can't wear a decent bra, but I mean, she's not super huge, so she could probably have like one of those tape on, like individual ones and be okay. But yeah, most people are a little bit bigger. Yeah. Can you imagine Angela with some like
please
a little bit of tape holding those things up?
Just Angela in a dress that goes down to her belly button in the middle. Oh my God.
Gosh. Oh, goodness.
Well,
yeah.
I'm done.
Okay.
Move on. So we can
the
think
wedding
about
ceremony
else.
was sweet. Yep, the wedding ceremony I thought was sweet. But then Jason with his bizarre ass analogies, some analogy of a boat and rocking in a direction. I was like, I don't understand what you're saying.
Right.
I don't.
I wrote down tortured boat metaphor. Like, I don't.
Yes,
I
was like,
we
okay,
threw the rocks
weirdo.
over so we can paddle to our destination without the rocks. And then, okay, so the other thing that bothered me is they asked him, okay, now that you're married, what is it like? He's like, what I see now is I see clarity. It's like, that's not something you can see. That describes how you see.
He's one of those guys that like says things and he thinks he sounds really
so
smart.
smart. You cannot see.
Yes, and you're like,
clarity.
It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense.
Yes, just like, okay. I'm making that confused person face. Just what?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. So last up we had was Danielle and Muhammad.
All right. So
yep.
Lots of things.
Yep. So she is relieved that he decided to go through with the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
She's relieved, but everybody else is concerned.
Yeah, everybody else is like, oh,
everybody else
man,
is concerned.
that bullet was going to miss her, and she just leaned right into it. She almost dodged that bullet.
Faith is annoyed because, she just wanted to go to her friend's house, but now she has to go to this stupid wedding.
Ugh.
Yeah. So what did you think of her dress? Because I know we always devote a little bit of time to dresses.
I don't know. It was a dress. She doesn't have a body that's like going to look great in a ton of dresses. So there's only so much you can do, but
well, that's what I was going to say. Like, I feel like you can find a dress that actually fits you. The top was so bizarre. It was like you could see through the top.
Uh-huh.
Because it was like sticking out, like,
Okay, I'll give you that. Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't close to her body at all. It
Right. Like if you're saying
you
so
could literally
if she
see
looked
from
down,
one
if
side.
she-
Yeah.
If she looked down, she'd see her boobs. Like there's a,
Yes,
like,
because it's like coming out, like the distance between her actual nipple and the dress was probably a good 6 inches.
which makes her look
like-
way bigger than she actually is.
Yes, I was very confused by this dress.
It makes her look fatter and her boobs look smaller, which is just what you want a dress to do.
They looked lost in there. It was like, whoops, where'd they go? I don't know where my boobs are. It was not a good dress. Muhammad, and then it had that weird bow in front that I wasn't a fan of. Yeah, but Muhammad actually looked nice in his suit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty standard suit, but it fit and he was fine and
Right.
nothing weird about it.
Yeah. It kind of made me wonder, did he rent it or did he own it before? Because, money was an issue.
Oh, yeah.
So
sure.
it looked fitted. Mm-hmm. So Muhammad wishes his friends and family were there.
No, he doesn't. But okay.
Yeah, I know, right? He's like, I don't want them to see this terrible thing. So Paul, Danielle's brother, is trying to talk him out of it. That was like my take on it. It was kind of like, he's like, you look nervous. Are you sure you want to do this? Like,
yeah.
Kind of like, it wouldn't be that big of a deal if you walked out on the wedding.
But you already walked out kind of already. I mean, it's already there.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. So the wedding definitely has the feeling like a small party.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about what her and him. And then, so she gets walked down the aisle by her son, Corey, right?
Yes.
Who's wearing cargo shorts.
God, right?
You couldn't even put on pants, man? Come on.
Well, he probably just rolled out of bed or, came back from, the store or something. Because they didn't know this wedding was going to happen. So, whatever. He just came as he was.
Thrown a pair of trousers in his trunk and just waited for it. Just like some khakis.
I know, right?
That's all I'm asking.
That's his way of protesting because he doesn't want her to get married. He has reservations, but he's going to walk her down and show his support anyway.
That's the way you're supposed to do it.
So it was funny because Angie Danielle's friend, she says what everybody always says, 90 days just isn't enough time. But she's not even in the couple.
Well, it comes up in the tell-all too. I'll look at that.
Yeah.
Oh.
She doesn't actually look happy at the wedding. I would think she would have been all into it, but she actually didn't really smile that much.
No, I mean, that you never know how people are going to react to what different kinds of stresses there are. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It almost seemed like she was afraid he was going to turn around and bolt at any given time.
Yeah.
During the wedding.
Yeah. The pastor definitely, or whoever the officiant is, had a very long pause for people, many people to object.
Object.
Yep. Are you sure?
Right.
Last
Now the objections.
chance.
Okay,
Last
so it's
call.
a thing because I thought he made it pretty clear, and Muhammad, with a cutaway to Muhammad, would be like, "It's my wedding. How could anyone object?" The objections are supposed to be somebody who's like, "Yeah, they can't get married because they're married to me." Those are the type of objections
right.
that are supposed to come up. Not I don't think he loves her.
So then the ceremony ends with "You may kiss the bride," and then there's this awkward.
No. Yeah. Which, come on, that seems so fake to me. Wouldn't you tell him that before? Listen, it's because the official thing was it's Ramadan and we can't kiss, right?
Yeah.
And you'd think you'd tell the pastor before, oh, hey, it usually ends with "you may kiss the bride," but actually we can't kiss because it's Ramadan. So he wouldn't actually say "you may kiss the bride" and have him be like, actually, we can't do that. Okay. So
I don't know.
Very doubtful.
But, okay,
very doubtful.
Aren't you also
suspect.
not supposed to be eating during the day?
Sun up to sundown.
Ramadan?
Yeah, sun up to sundown.
Yes, and it was definitely sun up still. But, that doesn't stop him from going against, their beliefs in Ramadan and eating some cake.
Oh, I didn't even see that he ate. anything.
Yeah, so, they because I noticed, I was like, this is really just like janky. They have this like plastic knife, like not even like a big knife. It's just like this
This
plastic
one of the plastic knives out of the thing of a forksman.
Right, so they cut the cake with this plastic knife and he's eating cake. It's like, right. You really believe in like the traditions of Ramadan.
Super, super strict Muslim.
Very suspicious. All right, so after the wedding, they have some more financial troubles.
So
their electricity is shut off.
Power gets shut off, and Muhammad just up and leaves and just goes away.
Yep.
And nobody knows where he is and what he's doing, and of course, I don't know where he went.
The whole family's affected by this.
Which is so crazy because the more she says that, the more of the girls are just like, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, whatever, I don't care. Yeah, because I'd say it did not seem like they cared at all. Faith was just like, meh. Like her thing was, and I was like, smart girl. She was like, I would say give him a week. And if he doesn't come back, it's over.
Yeah.
Yes, Faith. It's not like, a hard line. Like, get rid of him, but let's not.
Like, if he doesn't want to be here, just let him go.
Yeah, let him go. So Faith says she thinks that Muhammad is weak. I can live without electricity, so can you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And it's not about the electricity. It's about, like, if you take his word for it, which, I don't know, at this point, you can't take his word for anything.
No.
But, like, it's about, like, how did I not know the electricity was about to get shut off? Why did I not know that bill was late? Like, what's going on? Like, and that's what repeatedly getting surprised by the financial hardships is what is really bothering him. I mean, again, according to him.
Right. Okay, so I noticed that she actually was wearing a diamond ring. So, because, when they were shopping for wedding bands before, she just got, like, the silver band because they had to get, like, a ring for, like, $50.
Right.
But the ring that she was wearing on her, like, ring finger was, like, some kind of, like, it looked like a band of diamonds.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if that was, like, the engagement ring. But it's like, I think Muhammad would fully support you pawning that to turn the electricity on.
Right.
That would make him happy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so Danielle cries, of course, that she needs him to be there because, and here's the reason why he needs to be there, he makes her a better person.
Yeah,
that's like, oh my
that's
gosh.
getting there. You know what? That's the one I've heard. That's getting as bad as He's My Soulmate. Like,
yes, it's dumb. How does he make you a better person?
Everybody says it.
How?
Right, because it doesn't seem like he does. I mean, she doesn't seem like
No.
she's better off with him.
Right. Justin and Evelyn, yes, Evelyn has made Justin a better person by being more open to his family. That's like a specific, tangible, like, difference. How does Muhammad make Danielle a better person other than making it seem like she's more normal and that she seems more desirable to others because she has someone?
Someone finds me acceptable.
Yes,
That makes
physically.
me better. Physically.
Yeah.
Physically.
Right. So then production comes back and it looks like they kind of ambushed Muhammad.
Yes.
Like he just looked really like, what? Like during the headlights.
Yeah,
But
it
he
sounded like,
comes
it
back.
seemed like, I think like one of the daughters, like he came back and one of the daughters was like, he's here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Swarm.
Yeah.
So he's hanging out at the computer that looks like is in the living room with Kylie. And he's just like hanging out on the computer. So production comes in and they're like questioning him, like, where have you been? Like, and then he is just, this is where he shuts down. He is not about this show anymore. He's like, I am not responsible for anyone, their views or opinion. I don't have to explain myself.
right.
I want to stop everything.
He goes all Cartman on it. Like, I do what I want. You can't stop me. I'm an adult. I can do what I want.
Yeah.
There's nothing
I
wrong with
can
it.
leave
Yeah.
if I want. Yeah, you can't tell. And I don't have to explain myself to anyone. Yeah, you don't have to explain yourself to production, but
Right,
I think Danielle
You should explain yourself to your wife. That's
and your family.
yeah,
Yeah, but the thing is that they're not pressuring him for an explanation
right.
because Danielle is
She doesn't
delusional.
want an explanation.
She is hardcore delusional.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to because the tell-all is next.
So let's move on to the tell-all then.
Wow, there's so much delusion here. Okay, so we had kind of a side conversation about the host for the tell-all. So I had asked Mr. O, who was hosting this, and because I thought it was Michelle Collins, and Michelle Collins had hosted a bunch of like after show type episodes they had a couple seasons ago, and everyone made fun of the fact that Michelle Collins is a very large, not like she's a very tall lady. So she's a very tall in demand. So everybody just looks so tiny compared to her. And it didn't help that they had like small furniture. And so she just looked like this giant on set.
Amazon, like hovering over
right,
everyone.
An Amazonian, basically. She was like, I think she's 6'1".
Oh,
so
wow.
she really is a very tall lady. This is someone different. So the person who's hosting this, she was a one and done, Erica Hill.
Erica Hill, right. She was.
So
from,
what did you think
NBC.
about her as a host in general?
I mean, she was okay. And the same problem we see with most of the hosts is they kind of scratch the surface of something interesting and then go, and now moving on to somebody else. And you're like, well, but we didn't get there. Because anytime you interview anybody, the first questions that you ask are just going to be really surface level. You're going to get the same boilerplate answers, nothing in depth. And you, in order to be a good interviewer, you have to be able to follow up and get people to expand on this part and that part. And let's pick on this. And she just didn't do that. It went, this couple, oh, okay, that's the thing you said during the show too. Next couple, this. And so it was very, very shallow. It turned, like we always said, it turned the tell all into a tell very little. Except with one couple exception.
Yeah. I was going to say my take on Erica Hill, because I actually have never seen this tell-all.
Okay.
Like even like when I had seen season 2, like, back in the day when it came out, I don't think I ever saw the tell-all. So the one thing that I like, just for the most part, I liked her, but the one thing that she did that I didn't like is that she would ask them like a somewhat difficult question, and they would kind of sit there and hesitate like how to answer, and then she would be like, and she would offer them like an easy answer, and they'd be like, yeah, that thing. So it would kind of be like, okay, like, you're giving them easy outs to these questions that you're asking,
right.
and it just doesn't.
Right.
Yeah, and they take them, absolutely, because it's better than having to come up with the difficult answers or being truthful about things. Okay, Cassia looks so much better on this tell-all. She has gotten rid of the weirdo eye makeup, and she has dyed her hair all one color.
Oh, she doesn't have that weird ombre. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She had like the blonde tips, and now it's like all, and I mean, it still has highlights, but she looks so much better. So we had kind of talked about, her being a pretty girl. Like, yes, it's very obvious on the tell-all. She is a very pretty girl.
Right.
So Justin says that the honeymoon's over now.
Yeah. Yeah. They kind of caught him. He was like, what do you mean by that? He was like, oh, shit. I didn't mean to say that.
There's a lot of challenges going
forward. He kind of its way out of it. Yeah. It's very much like the... I know what he was going for. It's kind of like one of those standard jokes you say, and it's like everybody's like, so what are you saying? And you're like, oh, nothing.
This is a tell-all. You can't be joking about stuff like that.
Right. Very close to joking about a gun in the TSA line. Like, don't do that. Don't. Not funny.
Yeah. Then they pay... I'm going chronologically, by the way. So then we have Chelsea from Chelsea and Ymir, and she kind of says that people were treating her like Yoko Ono.
I mean, yes.
Okay. Yeah, but no.
I mean, yes, in that if people cared about Milovox, they would, but nobody actually cares about Milovox.
Right.
So, like, one person was treating her like Yoko Ono, and it was Gabriel. That was it.
Yes.
Everybody else didn't give a shit.
No one else cares. Yeah, it didn't even seem like Milovox cared.
Yeah. They were all just kind of like,
eh.
oh, this was fun for a while, so I had to get a real job. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Moving on.
Then we had Daya and her ring situation came up from Daya and Brett. And we kind of said this earlier today. It just seemed like that was the point where the mom was off board. Because they kind of replayed those
clips.
clips.
They replayed the clips. And that was the mom like saying like, she didn't see you. I'm with you. I don't know.
Yeah.
So there was a bunch of still rehashing, right?
Yes. Okay, but then, so they're talking about Brett and Daya, and then they ask Brett why he wanted to meet someone in the Philippines, and he says, I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
But
Right.
because you were bothered by this, like on the first episode when he said this.
Because at the first episode he said they had good marriage values, which I think he was trying to say good family values, but it made it sound like values as in like it's a bargain. I can get married for a bargain. Like it made it sound like he was talking about money.
I didn't know that's why you thought it was okay.
Yeah.
So what he kind of says, and in the tell-all, is basically, I don't know, it sounded kind of weird to me. Like it's still, I don't know how you can make it like better, but he pretty much made it sound like the reason why he wanted to marry a Filipina is because you can't get divorced in the Philippines. And it's like, so you want them to be forever tied to you?
So his good marriage value that he was actually looking for is once they get married, they are culturally
they're
against
trapped.
getting divorced.
Yes. And it's not even culturally. Like, I actually looked it up, and it is kind of interesting. The Philippines is the only country in the world that you cannot, like, have a divorce. Like, it's not legally recognized. So even if you go, like, let's say you married, you're a Filipino couple, you're from the country, and then you leave to go live in the U.S. And then you, like, maybe even, like, a naturalized citizen in the U.S. And then you decide to get divorced in the U.S. When you go back to the Philippines, even if only one of you moves back, you are still considered married.
Crazy.
Like, they basically do not recognize divorces. So they said that the Philippines and the Vatican are the only two places that don't legally recognize. Right, is not a real country, but
like,
yeah.
No, there's no citizens. There's one citizen of the Vatican, and he's not marrying
Oh,
anybody.
yeah. He definitely can't get divorced. Maybe that's why they can say that. They're like, well, we're not going to pull up legal documentation on this. Like, there's no need to make it a law. We don't have to worry about that. Yeah, it's probably on a technicality. But I feel like, yeah, he's just like, okay, well, we'll just trap them.
Just trap them.
They can't get divorced. They're not allowed.
So it makes it sound like his first divorce was not his idea.
No, definitely doesn't seem like that. So he then says he wants to bring that culture into his family, the you're trapped culture, apparently.
Because that's what we want to bring up for his daughter is, you should be trapped and handcuffed to a man for the rest of your life.
Yeah, right.
That's the value we want to give for Cassidy.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Okay, so then they move towards Danielle and Muhammad.
And then there's a lot of stuff shakes out.
What was the whole 40-60 thing that they were talking about?
Okay, so
I think I missed the beginning of that.
Yeah, I wrote it down, and it was like, oh man, because it was.
Is Muhammad giving 40%?
It was
to the
like
relationship.
It was like, I think it was saying, oh, like, why did you come? Like, what was that percent? Like, why did you come to America? And he was like, well, 40% of it was like 40% was to come to a new place and do the country, and like 60% was to get married. Like, because what he said is, they said, well, why did you come? And one of the things he said was, well, I'm just a person, and this is a horribly dangerous red flag for someone you just married, is I'm not a person who can stay in one place for very long. I have to always be trying new things and doing new things, and I don't want to do anything for too long. It's like,
oh gosh, yes, that, yeah.
And then they said,
flag.
well, did you come to America to do new things, or did you come to America to get married? And he was like, it's like 40-60.
Oh gosh, okay, I definitely missed that, but not surprising, because everybody seemed to be taken aback. Like, I got that part, like the reaction, everyone was just like, oh, like completely horrified, like that he had said that out loud.
Yeah.
So they kind of seem to bring up the fact, and we had just talked about this on the last classic episode, that Muhammad doesn't show any kind of affection. And then he's defending it in front of everybody, because I think Evelyn is the first person who kind of says something like, yeah, it doesn't just seem like you're affectionate at all. And he says it's because it's against his religion and culture. So Muhammad is defending himself. Okay, so my question is, all right, so you can't show a physical affection, but I don't even think that was just it.
Oh,
like,
no, it
what
wasn't.
what does loving someone look like? Like, how does someone know that you love them if you're from Muhammad's religion and culture? What does that look like?
Right. So what does it? Well, because so if we go back recently, we had in before the 90s, we had Avery and Omar, and
Yes.
right, and they didn't touch each other either because they were both Muslim.
Yes.
But they were both clearly really into each other.
Right.
And,
Like giggly, like making eyes at each other the whole time.
Yeah, like there's
Yeah.
more than just physical contact that makes it like obvious that you're into somebody and that you're in love with them and that you care
Right.
about them. And like they never had a conversation like about anything they liked or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was very cold.
Right. And then I was going to say even Laura Aladdin. Like Aladdin, I'm sorry. He talked about Laura. Like, I believed that he really loved her. Like the way he would talk about her in the interviews. And that has nothing to do with, and then you got Muhammad over here who's like in the interviews saying that she's acceptable.
Right.
So
Which
it's
comes
kind of
up
like what?
and Danielle being delusional like she is
Oh my gosh.
was like, well, in
So
his
delusional.
culture that means he thinks I'm beautiful. And it's like, no, honey.
No, that's not what it means at all. No one's
If he thought you were
culture, that's
beautiful,
what it
he
means.
just said you were beautiful. Like it wouldn't. It's not a.
Oh my gosh. So Danielle is making excuses for him because this goes along with the delusion. She says that the reason why he is like this right now, like, just not very happy and he's just not used to sitting at home. That's all.
So, you make him sit at home, he's not used to sitting at home, so he just up and disappears for weeks at a time. Like that's not how people deal with that. That's not normal.
So then they start asking her difficult questions. And then this was so annoying. She turns around and burrows her head into Muhammad's shoulder and basically just doesn't answer the question.
Which is how
what is
a
wrong
4-year-old
with you?
child deals with being asked a difficult question.
Oh my gosh. I was just like, wow, be an adult. What is wrong with you? It was just really cringy and painful to watch.
Yeah, very much. All right, so we get a little bit of time off of them, right?
Yeah. We started on with Chelsea and Ymir talking about how they're starting from zero.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my question. How are you starting off at zero? If you were a famous pop star, shouldn't you have some sweet pop star money?
Some kind of money.
Yes.
That's true.
I'm not even saying that you're super rich, but how do you not even have enough to possibly get you some studio time, like little bit of money?
Right.
Like, what have you been doing this
A couple
entire
months
time?
of rent? Yeah. Something like that? Yeah. You'd think so.
Yeah. So this kind of goes back to the my skepticism
That Mila Vox was an
over-
actual popular group?
Yes. Well, an actually successful group.
Successful.
I believe they were a group.
Yes. Group,
Yes. But it's like, but
any
how,
modifier
and
on
I
that
believe,
group is yeah.
Right. And I believe that they made music. What I don't believe is that they were a huge success where everybody knew who they were, because you would have money, some of it,
Yeah.
something.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense. I call shenanigans.
Oh,
Yep.
and this with the okay. So at what point did they separate them? They came back from a commercial and put all the Americans on one side, right, and all the foreigners on the other side, and yeah, and then because that's actually one of my favorite parts of the tell-all is when they ask the foreigners what's wrong with Americans? What's up with that?
Yeah, so what was wrong with them?
I can't remember what it was. I didn't write it down. What was it?
Oh, I don't know. I think I must have skipped this part.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll cut this
Yeah.
out. Because
Okay.
I know they did something. Whatever they said, and everybody was like, "But yeah, that's exactly right." Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. So, yeah, the next thing I have on here is just that Danielle is feeling for her daughter's futures.
Yeah. So
I was like, uh-huh.
So bringing sketchy ass random dudes from halfway across the world
Yes.
to live with them is a really great way to ensure their futures. Mm-hmm.
Oh, my gosh. So then it kind of gets revealed this other off-camera drama.
Right.
Where kind of some of it's on camera. But then Danielle kind of fills in the blanks. Where was Mohammed when he left when the electricity went out? Mm-hmm. So he's saying that he went to a hotel and that Danielle had a friend who was just trying to help him out. I don't know exactly how to help him out. I don't know what
that would look like. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No. But then Danielle says, no. My friend, she's not my friend anymore. She tried to get Mohammed to leave Danielle so that way she could be with him.
And get with him. Yeah, I get so okay, my immediate suspicion is he was totally banging that friend, right?
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah.
And so like, yeah, it was weird situation. So you just had a friend who just like took in your husband and was like, I'm going to take him. I think you should leave her and be with me. That's especially that particular husband who I don't. Yeah. He's no prize. I don't get it.
No. I mean, at this point, okay, I don't find him especially attractive.
Right.
I'm going to throw in, I think he has a weird butt. Like every time they show his butt, it's like pancake butt. I don't know what's happening there. Like you're young. You should have like a round ass, you know? Okay, but that aside, I don't find him particularly attractive. He can't work, so it's not like a sugar daddy situation.
He's not charming.
No, he mostly seems like he hates everyone.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, he's not especially funny.
Yeah, he just seems so like plain white rice.
He's just there. Yeah,
I guess
he's kind of there.
Yeah. So I don't understand why there's women throwing themselves at him and stealing him from his wife, and like it just seems like I don't get it.
I don't know. Yeah. But apparently this is a thing that Danielle claims keeps on happening, like past the show, is just like all these women are thirsty from what she refers to as the social media.
The social media?
All these,
they're all on the Facebook.
All these thirsty women from the social media are all up in his business, and he is tempted by the social media thirsty chicks.
So you're saying the social media, and she says the social media, but it's Tinder, right? That's the social app he's on. Like,
I think she's talking about Instagram and like people slipping into the DMs. I think that's what she's talking about. But I don't know. But I also want to say that there was probably at some point that he has a Tinder, because people have like screenshot stuff and like, you know, posted that he was on Tinder at some point. So. All right. Okay, so instead of Student of the Week and Class Dunce, we decided, since it was the end of the season, instead to provide power rankings of not even the couples, the individuals.
No, the individuals. So I have 1 to 12 ranked on whatever we feel like ranking them on.
Yes.
Quality of personality is what we both, I think, are pretty much going with.
Yeah.
Like have a beer with, maybe. If it's a tie and they're both equally decent people, we might go with the more entertaining one. But it's fuzzy criteria.
Yeah, right.
All right.
You want to go?
My number one, I honestly, I think we have the same number one, is Amy.
Probably. Yeah. Absolutely. Love her.
Okay. Amy, number one. Number two is Evelyn.
Oh my gosh, our list is the same so far.
I think, right. Okay. All right, you do number three then. You do 3 and 4.
Okay. So I had number 3 as Ymir.
Okay.
I appreciate that he really wants to learn English, and that wins major points considering some of the couples we see in the future. Number 4 I have is Danny.
Okay, I had those switched. I had Danny 3 and Ymir 4.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so why don't you do 5 and 6
All right,
then?
so 5, this is where we're getting this is when it gets a little dicier. My 5 is Justin.
Okay.
And just because he wasn't as big of a dirtbag as I expected him to be.
Sure.
And he kind of came around at the end. And my 6 is Brett.
Okay, my 6 was Brett too. But my number 5 was Chelsea. Because there wasn't anything she did that was fundamentally wrong.
No, and Chelsea was 7 for me. She was right there in that same mix. Because I just think...
She was just kind of boring to me.
She was, and I made her a little bit lower just because she seemed a little bit too attached to living in her parents' basement.
Yeah.
Like she was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to get rid of this sweet, sweet freeloading that I have going on. And
Right. So I would say for me, 1 through 6 was kind of like the positive end. Like none of them really did anything that was terrible
okay, yeah,
in their relationship. Okay, then 7 through 12 for me is where it's like, okay, now we can start identifying things that you have done that was like maybe not so great for your relationship.
Major problems. Okay, so
Yeah.
so then who was your 7?
7 was Daya.
Okay,
So Daya, because of the whole ring thing, and just being very demanding and high maintenance. But the reason why she's on the higher end of this list of the "you did something bad" list is because she definitely changed. You know, like she redeemed herself, I believe.
yeah. Okay, so I had Daya at 8, so write the
Okay.
next one down. So
Yeah.
all right, so
So who did you have as 7 then?
my 7 was Chelsea. I had mentioned that,
right, Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea. So
Okay, so my number 8 was Justin.
Okay.
I think just because, it's like he caused a lot of drama that I feel like they were just having to fix the entire season.
Uh-huh.
He was trying to have to clean up the mess of him hiding her from his family.
right, that's true.
And then,
that's true.
Yeah. And then also just his stuff at the beginning about,
Yep.
like queen of the kitchen.
Yeah. Well, so cleaning
He'll
up,
be
it was,
king of the
so it was
bedroom.
both the cleaning up the figurative mess of him not introducing his
Yes.
family, and also cleaning up the literal mess that he left in the kitchen.
Right. Yeah, he basically just wanted Evelyn to clean everything in his life.
I can see that. I
yeah.
can see that. All right. So that means 1 through 8, slightly different orders, but we
Yeah,
have the same
but
bottom
more or
four.
less the same.
We have the same bottom
Yeah.
4. So it's a matter
Right.
of
Oh gosh.
where we rank.
Oh yeah. So the 2 worst couples.
The 2
yeah,
worst
they're
couples
down there.
are down there. So we'll go 9. My 9 of the 4 remaining ones, my 9 was Cassia.
Oh, mine was too. She's not great. There's definitely things that were like, especially at the beginning.
Yeah,
she was
my opinion of it was
okay.
very low at the
It
beginning.
was. It was very much when she was still in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like when she actually had some amount of power because she was in Brazil. Once she was in America, it was like a completely different situation. She was not in power. I mean, I'm not saying she didn't make life easy,
Mm-hmm.
but, it was, there was only so much she could really do at that point.
Right. So, and I was just like, and part of the thing was that when she was in Brazil, we only were hearing Jason's part of the story.
Yeah.
So she might, if we heard her side, it might have seemed a little bit more reasonable with what was going on.
But I think we heard like her conversation of her being like, I don't know if I'm going to show up. Maybe I'll try. I'll
Right.
try to come
That's
to
true.
the airport.
That's true.
It's like, what does that even mean?
That's true. All right. So 10, 11, 12. Who was your 10?
10, I had Danielle.
Oh, I did too.
It's like,
God.
yeah, because it's like, there are small glimmers of like, I feel sorry for her.
Yes.
But then it's kind of like, well, okay. And the thing is, too, it's like the times I feel bad for her are the times I kind of really realize like she truly is delusional.
Right.
Like she truly believes this man loves her. And this is the reason why she's behaving the way that she's behaving. So, I mean, if I thought someone really loved me, I'm sure I would defend them too.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but it's just like, but then you got to look at the other side. It's like, how are you that out of touch with reality?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And the person who keeps saying, I want what's best for my daughters and gets the phones turned off
Yeah.
and the electricity turned off and like, all right.
Plus, she's 100% projecting. They don't give a shit
Yeah.
about Muhammad. And
Yeah.
she's like, but you're doing this to the girls. The girls don't care. Unless you're referring to yourself as multiple people like that, you are the girls.
Okay. It's going to be so close. Okay.
I know, it really is.
All right,
I'm wondering. This is
last
kind of
two.
funny that we
I
got
know.
most of them.
Last 2.
Pretty
All
much.
right.
yeah.
11 is Jason.
Yes, I had him too as my 11.
Oh,
Yeah.
just 'cause-
Uh,
I mean, he was just
yeah,
so. He couldn't put
Okay.
down the work. I mean, he didn't want to
Yes.
change a thing about his life, but he wanted to insert this,
Right.
gorgeous 23-year-old for like.
Sure.
Just yes.
I kind of wonder how he like managed that.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
It pretty much landed in his lap. I feel like if
Yes.
he had to try to like kind of court someone, you know, in that first, I feel like he would just be single forever because it doesn't seem like he's motivated to do that.
I mean, that's what it seemed like the rest of his family was like.
Yeah, because Cassia was
girlfriend.
the one who messaged him,
Yeah.
you know? So it's kind of like if she had never done that, they would never have been together. So, and I think like for me, the reason why Jason ranks higher than Muhammad is because Jason actually wanted to be with Cassia.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, he wasn't good at it. He did a lot of bad things. He was he was delusional about stuff as well. Like,
Right.
But yeah, at the end of the day, he actually did have at least some kind of feelings for her.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but then
Whereas Muhammad, the
Muhammad's-
very
he's a
bottom of
scammer.
our list.
He's just 100% scammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And he, you know, going to the divorce lawyer, seeing if he really had to, you know, get married, or I guess just the regular lawyer. But like, you know, wondering if you really had to get married. What do you think?
And
You need to
really,
go a
and
lawyer
checking
to
out
know
to be
that.
like, all right. So we do get married. Like, how attached am I how I'm attached am I financially? Like, am I going to be able to get out, untangle myself from this once I get my green card and get divorced? Because that's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to find out without saying it. Like,
Right.
and so yeah.
Okay, so since this is a classic episode, this has been a couple years, and so I had told Mr. O at the very beginning of the season that exactly half of our couples are still married and exactly half of our couples are divorced now. And so it would be interesting to see. I know some of them are kind of spoiler, like there's just no way of avoiding knowing that Daniel and Muhammad are divorced. I mean,
Right.
like,
Yeah. That's
you know,
just you can't
knew
be
that.
in the universe of the show and not
Right,
know
and
that.
not know that.
Right.
But who are your guesses for the other two couples?
So I'm going to be honest and say I was trying to look up how popular Milovox was and came up, and the word ex-wife just popped up right at the top, and I was like, oh, I guess it's Chelsea and Ymir.
Did that surprise you?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah. They would
Okay.
probably not have been my guess. Like, if I was going to guess, obviously, my most likely to least likely to be divorced
Yes.
would have been Danielle Muhammad first, but that doesn't
Yes.
count. Second would be Jason and Cassia.
Okay.
And then third probably would have been Brett and Daya.
Okay.
And then Chelsea and Ymir, and then Justin and Evelyn, and then Amy and Danny would be my least likely to be divorced.
Yeah. Well, you were pretty right on. Jason and Cassia are divorced. Brett and Daya, actually, I believe they have a child. Yeah. And so kind of thinking about the couples from this season, I think Brett and Daya, off the top of my head, I think they're the only ones with a child.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's surprising. I would have expected Amy and Danny to have a child, like with the religious thing and everything, and the fact that he has 7 brothers and sisters or whatever.
Oh, you know what? They might.
Okay.
Yeah, that actually makes sense. Nothing a quick internet search can't answer for us,
On
right?
Google.
They do.
Ah.
They have. Oh, so cute.
Well, obviously.
I know.
Can't imagine
right?
those
So
two having a
cute.
baby
I think
be
we
like,
might have 2.
this baby is ugly. What a hideous child.
Well, yeah, they have 2. It looks like 2 girls.
Okay.
Oh, and the older one, because she looks like 4-ish. She's very beautiful. I'm glad I looked that up.
All
So
right.
cute.
Well,
I
there
had
you
no
go.
idea. They're not very that active on social media, so
That doesn't surprise me either.
yeah, because they're not like thirsty and trying to use this show to like launch some other side
Exactly.
hustle.
Exactly. It's the
Yeah.
thirsty ones and the ones who are trying to raise their clout or get on other shows and stuff like that. Those are the ones
Right.
who are on
And I
social
think
media the
that's
most.
why I also super love them. It's just they seem so pure.
Yeah. They took Matt Sharp at his word. Like, oh, you want to make a show about our love? Fantastic.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Right. Okay, so that wraps up season 2.
That wraps up season 2.
Yep. So we will be back with new episodes covering the current season 7, right?
Yes.
Next week. We're expecting either Sunday or Monday.
Yep. And then we're going to continue the classic episodes. Still should be next Thursday. Starting with beginning season 3.
Yes. season 3, episodes 1 and 2.
All right. Okay, we'll see you then.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.